Belina mai kako. Welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps aloha by using your lolo and not being lolo. I'm your host Kamaka, and sometimes I'm a little lolo, but today I'll be on my best behavior and use 100% of my lolo. We got an amazing guest today, but before we introduce him, I gotta let you know that we will be at the Kamaka Marketplace at the Blaisdell on Oahu this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, selling our new Keep It Aloha merch and doing one final book signing before the year ends. We will have a joint booth with my other business, Hawai'i, selling everyone's favorite card game, Mocabs. So come by and do all of your Christmas shopping, and I hope to see you there. All right. Let's introduce our guest.
After 175 years, some people still think we're just a ranch.
And we just farm all day.
What they don't realize is we wear many hats. And that's just how we roll. You just might see some old friends.
Or make some new ones.
So come hang with us.
Drive on out to the country.
And get that epic snap.
No matter what you're looking for, come discover where legends are made.
Our guest today is a psychiatrist from Omaha, Nebraska. He is the founder of Brain Health Hawai'i, where he serves as the CEO and medical director, bringing decades of expertise in brain health. As a double board certified physician, he is committed to strengthening the development of our children and members of our community. His innovative work integrating neuromodulation, sleep and circadian rhythm, neurophysiology,
Big word.
That's a big word.
It's a big word.
And psychiatry, you guys can read the description below, has earned national recognition, particularly for treating athletic concussions, military PTSD, childhood conditions including ADHD and autism, and enhancing performance for athletes and executives. This loving father and husband has treated surfers such as Mikey O'Shaughnessy, Carissa Moore, as well as yours truly, future fantasy football champion, Kamaka Diaz. I am so stoked to talk stories with him today. He is Dr. Jason Keifer. Aloha, Dr. Jason. Welcome to the Keep It Aloha podcast. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was just a little BTS of the podcast. This is the second time I had to do that intro because the first time was too slow, and then the second time I thought it was good speed, but then that word got me. I was the whole time when I was practicing before.
Which word?
Psychiatrist. I was having trouble.
Yeah.
I was having some trouble with because I was like psychiatrist. But
I mean, it is an odd word, right?
Physiological. Physiology.
Sounds like we could get rid of the P and just make it an S.
Yeah.
Make more sense.
I think the psychology, what am I saying?
Neurophysiology.
Neurophysiology.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I need more tune-ups.
Maybe. we left a little bit on the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just saw you the other day. We did a little follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You brought some of the scans to share with people, but we'll get into that later. I just want to say mahalo for coming in. We're super excited to get to know your whole life story. And I'm excited to share with our audience what Brain Health Hawai'i is doing because I've been going for half a year, maybe, I think. I went earlier in the year, or did I go last year? I forget.
It was shortly after your surgery.
After my surgeries.
Yeah.
Oh, so it must have been end of last year.
You were kind of laid up.
Yeah,
after your surgery.
So it's been super cool just to see the progress. And for me, I feel like I don't have too many things wrong with my head, I would like to believe. But just the way that you're able to optimize my performance and get me more aware of everything such as sleep has been the biggest help. Like
Sure.
I've been telling people, I never, ever slept 8 hours.
Yeah.
Ever. It's just impossible for me. For some reason, I could not sleep more than 4 hours at a time, and I would always wake up. But sometimes, since I started going to Brain Health Hawai'i, I was able to, get to that like 6 hour mark, 7 hour mark without waking up, sometimes 8. And even a couple months ago, I think I've hit like 9 hours, maybe 10 hours, which is like, I would say impossible for me.
And
So
what's it
it's
like?
super cool.
What are the different things you experience as you get more, like we would describe as like consolidated sleep?
Okay.
Like what do you notice as you get kind of like deeper, longer stretches of sleep?
Well, I think when I wake up, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
You know how you wake up, you kind of want
Like
to
you're
stay in
not
bed,
just kind of rolling.
go on your phone. Yeah.
Like you jump out of bed.
Yeah, even sometimes I wake up, even if I don't get 8 hours, say I get like 6 hours and I wake up 2 hours before my alarm.
Yep.
But I don't feel tired. Like I
Yeah.
could just get up and start my day. So that's been kind of a new experience where I would wake up and I try to go back to sleep. Once in a while, I can't go back to sleep and I'm just up for a while.
That's the thing we notice, like, because you're how old again, Kamaka? You're
32.
I think it's pretty normal. Most of us, when we're in our 20s and
Yeah.
30s, we're not really calculating, thinking about sleep. It's usually, old guys like me in our 50s or maybe in the 40s, definitely in the 60s, where
Yeah.
you start to really experience that breakdown in sleep and you start to catch up on the value of it. So I like we've talked about, like, just getting out of the game in your 20s and 30s, if you can really sort of lock in what good quality, what we describe as neuro-restorative sleep is, it can go a long way.
Yeah,
Long way
and
for stress.
It's
Focus.
super cool that I'm learning about it now before it gets too late. Like when I first met you and when it went into brain health, it was so cool. You're like, okay, open your mouth. Okay, do that. Okay, yeah, I'm 90% sure you have sleep apnea. Do the
Like,
sleep,
what is
do the
this?
sleeping test. I got sleep apnea.
I'm coming here from my brain, and
I know. Then you did
you're
that
probing
little
my mouth.
Chinese medicine balloon stuff that goes into my nose and it's like that thing. And that helped too. I was able to breathe a lot better. But the coolest thing I want to share is these blue light glasses that you told me to get. They're more expensive and they're red lenses. They kind of make me look like Daredevil. I feel like I'm Daredevil.
I think you look good. I think you look good.
Thanks. But they block 100% of blue light.
Yes.
And because I'm on screens a lot doing work, I have I guess a good amount of blue light in my system and like blue light poisoning, right? So I noticed the difference when I wear them at night and when I don't wear them at night.
What's the
with me
difference?
waking up.
What is it that you notice?
Well, so I track my sleep now with my Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the red spikes.
You had data before. And
I didn't have data before.
Okay.
Oh, I had data before I started getting the glasses.
Okay, yeah,
the glasses.
yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of red spikes. That's if you don't have an Apple Watch, it shows like when you're awake. So when the nights I wear that pretty early, like when the sun goes down and I keep it on, sometimes it's like 0 spikes. The nights I have 0 red spikes, that's, oh my gosh, I get so excited.
I mean, one, you feel good when you wake up, and then you see the data, and it's like
it's exciting because now I wake up. Yeah, I wake
Yeah.
up and I look at my Apple Watch and it's like, okay, let's see what
Yeah.
I got. How many red spikes did I get today?
yeah. So I mean, the glasses, like the thought here is like, blue light in and of its own is not bad. It's just like anything in life. It's like dose and timing. So if you're getting, you want more blue with the natural sunlight in the morning because that's when you're supposed to have cortisol spikes, right? But if you're getting excessive blue light in the latter half of the day, or even worse after sundown, which is when you're supposed to be wearing these, if you're getting that excessive blue light, well, now you're having this cortisol spike when your body is supposed to be kind of like winding down, going to sleep. So those little red spikes that you see on your wearable, are likely related to sort of like cortisol or sympathetic intrusions, nervous system intrusions, because of potentially that cortisol spiking related to the excessive blue. So that's another step where like you're just ahead of the game, and you kind of mitigating or reducing those effects over time can go a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also recommended a nasal spray, and then what are these called? Like the thing you put into your nose?
That's a nasal dilator.
Nasal dilator.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know if you guys can see, but you put it in your nose and it just opens your nasal passages and it helps you breathe better. I did it. I wasn't coming in thinking I was gonna optimize my sleep. I thought you're gonna do something to my brain and I'm just gonna be the smartest guy in the world, but we're on the way to that.
Here you are, the smartest guy in the world through another avenue.
Yeah.
But it's like I think what it is sort of like, most people who like might experience stress or changes in their focus or changes in their sleep. I think historically we've just always kind of thought like, oh, that must be some sort of like psychological stressor. And sure, in some cases it is, but in many folks, it's actually more of like, there's been some sort of chronic breakdown, whether it's sleep or breathing in oxygen or any number of things that have kind of like disrupted the way the actual hormones in the brain and all these chemicals that are responsible for us sort of like feeling better. Like all those can get disrupted. And so what you're experiencing is, while you're already good at like visualization and mindfulness and things like this. But if you just take some sort of like small steps, seemingly small steps over time, you're actually helping to like optimize your physical body, and as a result, you can get gains, even though it wasn't that bad. You can gain in mood and clarity, focus, and even how you manage stress. So yeah, I give you a lot of credit. At 32 to be digging in like this is you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
sure.
well, shout out to Lanai, past podcast guest. He's one that recommended brain health, and my physical therapist Jimmy as well.
Yeah,
he recommended me. So there's enough people that told me to go.
Smart
and
guys,
then Lanai connected us, and then we did it. And yeah, it's been one of the top health things that I've done in the past year. You know, I've been, since my surgeries, I've been doing all kinds of things, and well, you know, it's not, you know, physically making changes to my knee or my shoulder, but sleep is in the, you know, super underrated, right? And recovery and getting sunlight and all of that, which I'm vitamin D deficient probably right now. But
where are you with your knee rehab?
I would say it's like 85% in my knee and 90% in my shoulder.
Like, you can cut?
I can't run yet, but I can kind of like jump this kind of in place and jog at like 60% maybe. Yeah. So I'm getting there.
What's the timeline? What is it?
I don't know. It's such a rare thing that it's just whenever my body decides for my kneecap to fuse, because it's bipartite patella, and it's something that I was born with. My kneecap didn't fuse growing up, so they put 2 screws in, and so I'm just waiting till my bone finally fuses or accepts the 2 parts, because they've been separated for so long that there's parts that may be rejecting it. But PEMF therapy has been helping that a lot. And
I don't know much about it, but I've been hearing.
Lanai got me on that.
I've been hearing a lot about it. A lot of people are saying positive things and how it's helping them.
I mean, I saw the X-rays before and after using it, and it's mind blowing. So I mean, I believe in it. Right. And I've been telling a lot of people to get on it. And there's, you know, testimonies of people with strokes that go on top of it, and they, you know, they can walk again, or, you know, people, they couldn't feel certain parts of their body, and it kind of activates it. So yeah, something that.
Well, what we need is we need Elon to invent some sort of implanted device that'll that'll just like cement or fill in. Your patella.
I think in the future we'll probably have like, you know the Android arms and limbs, and I think we'll probably have that.
I think the way it seems like from a distance, the way that guy thinks anything's possible.
Yeah.
You know, anything.
Right on. Yeah. Well, you're somebody that, you know, are making things possible. You know, you're somebody that is a hard worker, just from what I've heard and what I've researched about you. And you want to help. You want to make this community and this place better and help people, you know, live a better life. But I want to start at the beginning and get to know your whole life story. How did you get to that place? So we all start getting to know people from the beginning. Where are you from? Where you grad? And what was it like growing up? And I know you didn't grad from Hawaii, but we also talk about high schools when you grad. Yeah, you can get to college after.
So I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska. Born and raised there. Left briefly to start college at a junior college in San Diego, and then realized kind of needed to figure out what I was actually going to do with my life. And then, but it turns out, thinking about how I ended up here in Hawaii is, I was just thinking about that the other day, and I realized I didn't forget, but I lived with a local family. They had a home in La Mesa, California. And I was thinking about how much of an imprint that had on me. I lived there for probably like maybe close to a year. It was a wonderful Filipino family that I think they were originally from Aiea. They lived there, the Perez family. If ever, I haven't seen them in years.
If they're watching.
They're watching. But just wonderful people. I think that was probably my first real, like, what is this? This is so different. And I thought it was just that family because they were so caring and giving, and it was a wonderful stretch. But so long story short, I needed to figure out how I was going to get myself focused on school. So I packed up my bags and went back to Nebraska, Omaha, and then enrolled in school and went through undergraduate and medical school and then residency. And then over the years, found my way here progressively.
But what were you into growing up? Like,
what was I into?
Did you want to become who you are today?
No, if I think about it, I never really had much of a plan. I remember feeling like in high school and definitely after I left high school that I kind of had this feeling. So I wanted to figure out how to find a profession or a job or a study that would allow me to help. I thought maybe physical therapy. I thought maybe chiropractic. I thought maybe medical, but I had never really like focused on school. So then as I started to kind of engage in the pre-med studies, I started to feel like there were a lot of possibilities, spending time around, like I think one of the things that I've had throughout my life is I've been curious enough and just kind of willing enough to ask if people would allow me to shadow them and kind of watch what they do. And so you start spending time around different types of clinicians, and it can be really motivating. And I can think of, like an uncle who was a doctor, and just sort of being around him and seeing his clinic. And before I knew it, there was kind of this spark to really go for it. And so, and then as time went on, being in medical school, again, I was super grateful that I was even getting in, because it's so incredibly competitive. I think it's even more competitive now. I think most of us that are career physicians now, we usually kind of joke behind the scenes. We see how competitive it is now. We wonder, would we have even gotten in? Because kids nowadays, some of the pre-med students, they're remarkable. In fact, I have some that work in my office now, and I'm thinking they're so much further ahead of where we were at that time.
Same with athletes.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just kind of there's a lot of parallels. And so then when I went through medical school, it was really hard to narrow it down, because there were just so many. The one neat thing about medicine is not just learning about the human body, how it works and how it doesn't work, but it's also being around a lot of people who are incredibly smart and driven, and just kind of watching how they approach things. And for me, like picking up on how they approach things, it helps me a lot. But then just trying to figure out, like, it was tough, because at some point in around your third year, you have to decide what are you going to do. And there were any number of specialties that I liked, and so it was a progression.
Yeah.
And but one of my favorite, most enjoyable rotations in medical school was the child and adolescent psychiatry rotation it was actually through Creighton University. So I left an imprint, but I had a hard time committing to that. So started internal medicine at USC, just taking it through a fire hose at the old county hospital. It was like 50 stories high, and actually it was like 13, but it was massive. And the elevators didn't work, and we were working.
Oh, geez, you had to take the
100,
stairs?
we had to work like 110 hours a week.
Dang. Getting
But you learn
10,000 steps a day.
Oh man, more than that, and you learn so much.
Yeah.
It was a grueling year, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because it really set the stage for, like, you think about each stage sets the stage, sets it for the next one, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, after seeing, because the nice thing about going through a year of medicine at USC was we got to see, it was like battlefield medicine. You saw it all, and you managed everything. And even as an intern, you're treated kind of like a third year, which was rewarding in many ways and draining in others. And then I was fortunate to be able to land a position at the University of California, San Diego, in psychiatry.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, because I really enjoyed the idea, and I really enjoyed the field was emerging back in the 90s. That was considered the decade of the brain. I think the NIMH kind of declared that, and we had one of the former chairs of the NIMH at UCSD. So there was really a lot of really neat things that were happening from a neuroscience perspective, and some of the best psychiatrists in the country around psychopharmacology and neurotransmitters were there, and so we were getting really good instruction. But I felt like there was, as I went through that training, it was great, because great friends, great training, great hospital, everything. I felt like as I got to understand that method of helping people, using medications, I felt like I was perhaps seeing some of the limitations of it, the usefulness of it, but also some of the limitations. And so I went ahead and applied for a child psychiatry fellowship. And I landed that fellowship here. It was actually the only fellowship I applied to.
And then that's how you got here?
That's
and
how
you've
I got
never
here.
been here before?
No, I had spent about a summer here because probably one of the most impactful mentors in my life is my older brother John, who lives here, and he was the first person in my family to graduate from college, and I was next. And but I think actually our middle brother, who didn't graduate, he's probably smarter than both of us. He just
Usually the ones that don't graduate, they're smartest, right?
He's
they're
wicked smart.
They don't need school.
He's one of these guys back in the early '80s who had he was like building computers and like before the computer, before computers was a thing, and so he's pretty smart. But anyways, my older brother John was here in grad school. This was the summer of '97, I think. Mm-hmm. Is that right? 97? Yeah, 97.
Yeah, I remember I was 4 years old.
Yeah, so you're 4 years old.
Beautiful summer of 97.
And I was 2 months before I was supposed to go to medical school. I got accepted. I was going to go. I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to go visit my brother. And I'll never forget being out here. I think I was out here for like 4 or 5 weeks. And it was like unbelievable. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced in my life. You know, the weather, the people, the food. I think at the time he was staying in a home near on the Hawai'i Marina. So like waking, marina. Like imagine like that's a country like that's you wake up in the morning to the birds, right? The birds.
Yeah.
And you walk out on the dock, and it's just like sunrise.
Is Nebraska landlocked?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's
Cornhuskers.
It's the definition of landlocked. Flat, landlocked. Now, granted, I grew up it was a city probably about the same size as Honolulu, but 100% landlocked.
Okay.
But so the reason I bring that experience up, one, is because it really ignited like, wow, I don't know that I verbalized it to anybody. I was like, I'm pretty sure I want to live here. Like there's something about the people, the culture, and being 22 or 3 years old, didn't really have those words yet, but it was a feel. It was special. And I actually, towards the end of my trip, I think I told my brother, like, I don't want to go back. And being a good older brother, he was like, get your ass on the plane. There'll be another time, right? Uh-huh. And so, and I remember when we started medical school, like that first few months, all I could think about was
coming back.
Yeah, that's it. It was like everybody was excited in the huge lecture hall, and I was sitting in the back thinking like Hawaii, like that was beyond impressionable.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were here? Did you try surfing? Were you hiking? Were you eating
surfing. He had a moped, so I'm like looking back, I'm on the Kalanianaole, just jamming down on Kalanianaole, and we went to concerts at the Pipeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like, was that around when you were?
I don't think so, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. So it was just, and we were just, and I didn't have anything to do. I was literally like doing nothing but going in the ocean and trying surfing and doing all these things that I'd never really done before, and it was like unbelievable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you still surf?
Once I had my fourth kid, that kind of.
Well, maybe when they're older, you guys can all go together.
It was like surfing, or like you start taking those windows of time away that could cause problems. Yeah.
How are you so tan? Why are you so tan?
Because with the kids, it's just try to get outside with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like they do sports and stuff?
Yeah. So we have a yard, so we try to get out the yard as much as possible. Try to get them out.
Okay.
Get them away from the devices.
Usually if I see somebody so tan, I just assume they surf.
Yeah. No, I'm at this point, I'm a total poser. Yeah. In fact, I was it last year or year before? I think it was last year. There was a guy who we helped him with his surfing with his big wave surfer, surfing related concussion, and I feel bad because he was so nice afterwards. He actually either had one shaped or shaped it himself and left a board at my office. So there is a board in my office.
Oh, I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, so it looks like it's really a bad look for me because it looks like I'm still surfing, but I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan has brought a board inside here, and he's a poser, so same.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, I mean, it's just keeping the dream alive. Maybe
one day.
Hopefully I can get back to it.
Okay,
yeah,
right on.
Yeah.
So you ended up going back. You finished over there, and then you came back eventually.
Yes.
To do your fellowship at the medical school here, and then from that point on, what happened? And Did how long from that point was it until you opened up your own practice?
Yeah. So the interesting is you go through a thing that's called the match. So you submit your application, you go online, the programs are interviewing, and you hope that, it's a match. So you have to wait. There's a match day. And so I was super stoked when the Hawaii program accepted me. And so when it came time to move from San Diego, I had no other plans. I was just moving to Hawaii. So I sold everything. At the time, I was living on Mission Beach and surfing a little bit there. And I had a coffin surf bag. And I shoved maybe 15 to 20 pairs of clothes, some shoes, a couple surfboards, and moved here and rented one of those temporary apartments on, was that Pequay? Over there by the...
Oh, just in this area, by
back,
Alamana kind of ward.
By the... Is Zippy still over there on King and Pequay?
Oh, yeah, there's a Zippy's on South King Street.
Is that right? I somewhere over there, yeah. So
okay.
It just kind of...
Yeah, Makiki area?
Bought a bike and started riding my bike to the hospital and realized after a few days that that's way too hot, even at 7, 8 in the morning. So
I'd be sweating walking to class at UH sometimes.
Sometimes.
You got the backpack sweat mark
Yeah.
on your back.
And somehow scratched together enough to figure out how to get a loan for a car and got a car and then just kind of took off from there. And then just working at the hospital and really enjoyed everything about Queens Department of Psychiatry here. And I was fortunate then because, going from working with adults to kids, the drive there is, okay, let's get beyond just looking at it through the lens of just helping people with disorders. When you start to work with kids and teens and their families, now you're getting to know more about the development of the brain, the development of the person in context of community and family and learning about those dynamics, and in addition to kind of the standard psychiatric diagnoses and treatments. And so that became a real focus for me. There were a couple of people in there that really knew how to do those things. And so I really spent a lot of time around them to figure out, okay, how do I understand the medications and diagnosis, but how do we begin to look at behavioral patterns, relationships in the family, the kids and their development, and working to optimize not just the kid, but the environment around the kid to help them with whatever the issues they're having, whether it was related to their learning or their behavior or ADHD or anxiety, mood. And then, and so that time was super valuable and kind of setting the stage for taking that next step. I think for me, going a little bit deeper beyond just the psychiatric or DSM diagnoses and medication and developing other methods or developing other tools in the bag to help people.
Okay. So as a psychiatrist, you're just helping with the development of these kids, and say you diagnose them with ADD, you prescribe how do I not the thing all my friends take
Ritalin or Adderall.
Adderall, there we go. Adderall. So you prescribe them
sometimes
Adderall,
some people, I think
stuff like that, and then you give recommendations and suggestions, you should do this or this.
Yeah, it varies. It depends on the situation. The first few years out of my child psychiatry fellowship, I spent out actually being the director of a child and adolescent mental health clinic in Kapolei that then served Waianae and Makaha. So during that year or two, and also Diamond Head, and then there was no one covering in Hilo, so I actually spent a lot of time in Hilo.
Nice.
Actually, I was finding ways to get over to Hilo because I think I told you about this. There was a lady there at the outdoor market, the Kale outdoor market, that had the most amazing barbecue brisket sandwich.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
That would have been 2005.
Okay.
How old are you then? How old are you? You're how old then?
I was about in my teens.
Yeah.
12 or 13.
So covering those clinics, then at that time I wasn't prescribing a lot of medication. I was working with making house calls into Waianae Makaha and pretty dire vulnerable situations. Kids not going to school and the various things that were going on. So we had to figure out how to coordinate and support parents and the kids. Can we get them back to school and do all these different things? And so like, and many of those kids had ADHD, they had other things going on too. So it varies. In some cases, in some situations, people want to use medications and they can respond well to those. And in other cases, people are looking for like a different approach and a way to sort of optimize without medication. So a lot of it's just kind of meeting people where they are and helping them and helping them understand the different ways that you can go about doing that.
Yeah, because some people, they don't like taking medicine, or they're more into Eastern medicine than Western medicine. They like holistic approaches.
Right.
Some people don't like to swallow the pills. Some people like vaccines, don't like vaccines.
Sure.
So you deal with the whole spectrum of that.
Deal with the entire spectrum, and you know, there's there are a lot of options out there, and you know, you're just trying to figure out where people are to do the best you can to help them out, but also like, you know, because there's like short, medium, and long-term fixes, right? Short, medium, long-term solutions. So trying to help. Like it's a 12-alarm fire now, so maybe you don't want to use medication, but maybe we do it short-term while we're looking at these medium and long-range things that can be done that might actually promote like healthier sort of nervous system function, brain function, and allow you to maybe move towards a time down the road where you're not needing or wanting medication.
How many people grow up undiagnosed, and how many people, or I guess parents, maybe they're a little bit more hesitant of diagnosing their kids because they don't want like to know like, oh, my kid has this.
Yeah, I mean, I think
does that happen a lot?
question.
Because I feel like my sister would always joke around. My little sister would always joke about that, like with my mom, because parents in generations, they're old school, right? Like, oh, you're fine, rub some dirt on it, whatever. Or like my little sister would be like, I have ADHD or I have ADD. That's why I forget about doing the house chores or whatever it is. And then my mom would just be like, no, you're just lazy or something, something like that. I'm not saying that's what you do, Mom. I love you if you're listening to this. But that's just an example. And I feel like sometimes maybe it's a little hesitation of like my little brother, we all teased him how he talked because he had like this little lisp or something. I don't think my parents ever wanted to like take him to the doctor to, be like, your son, something's wrong with your kid, but he's fine now. So
yeah,
but I think that happens.
Oh, definitely
more
happens.
often than not.
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point because certainly I think in my era growing up, I think there was more of that. There was more of like, you're not going to diagnose my kid with anything. Like there was more of a, stigma's the word, right? I think what I've seen in the last few years is something I didn't know that I would ever see in my career, where I feel like there's almost no stigma.
Yeah, well, it's cool to
say
you have these things now.
Well, it's that. It's like, I think the barn door opened on that during COVID, because it was like this. It's like everybody got to go and sit in your house, and it was like this pressure cooker for different reasons. Like we saw this like huge demand for services during that time, and there was multiple reasons why, but in the end it was in that context of like pressure cooker. And I think maybe that's one of the silver linings of COVID and locked in is like people are so much more open about it now. I think that's what we see.
No, especially with mental health and amongst athletes, celebrities. I think the more they do that, the more it makes people who aren't well known more open to sharing it amongst their peers and communities. It's
right.
Like, oh yeah, I mean, kind of just like what you see your favorite athlete watch anime, then you're like, oh, now I can find people
now
watch
it's okay.
anime. It's cool, It's,
and you couldn't do that 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's like, oh, whoa, this super popular celebrity just said that they battled with depression. I actually battle with depression too. It's like it just makes it more okay for people to share when more people are vulnerable.
Right. Definitely. And if I think that, and then you see more people joking around about it, but maybe that, usually they're kind of joking about themselves and no longer really like making fun of other people about it. Which was not, back in my day, like that people were made fun of. They were stigmatized. And So it's, I mean, it's a good thing that that's significantly improved. If not, from one point of view, it seems like maybe it's just not around anymore at all.
Yeah.
There's so many more provisions in place at work, at school. You know, parents are more open to the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point too. I never thought about it. Yeah, I feel like growing up, I was in the last generation of people teasing. Like bullying before it was accepted as bullying. You know, like you'd tease each other, you'd mess around with people, and you weren't thinking like, oh, I'm being bullied or I'm bullying that person. Now it's like very like there's a label on everything, right? And you know, I was in the time where people were like, oh, that's gay. Like stop being gay, right?
Yeah.
Even with words like that.
That was a big
or
part
if
of our
people were a
childhood
little
too.
different, like you had ADD, you'd tease them, or maybe they had some sort of autism, you'd maybe tease them. Not saying it was okay, but this is just what we did growing up, right? I'm not saying I did it either. Don't hear what I'm not saying. And then I feel like as it got older, the jokes have become more self-deprecating humor, as in like you're like making amongst like your guy friends like gay jokes like about yourself or like you know, just being weird with your friends and like saying like, oh, it's just my ADD, or like, oh, so I might be a little autistic, or you know, making all those jokes about yourself, and it's not really teasing.
It's not really outward.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like I've seen that too.
Yeah,
that's a good
once
point.
you said that, I started to think about it. I'm like, yeah, that's right, because it's not acceptable if you laugh at somebody that has a certain condition. But if you're laughing at yourself and saying like, this is my excuse why I'm like this.
Yeah, but I
the
think the interesting thing is, it's like, I feel like it's like there probably are times that, you know, when you're with people, you know, and you're joking around, but the problem is, I think where it goes wrong is you just don't know when, you know, it's better.
You're gonna offend.
Be on the side of caution, you know, because like we may joke around, but I don't want to hurt anybody really. When it comes down to it, you don't want to, but if I start ribbing you at some point, maybe I've caught you on a bad day, and that usual sort of like joking that we would do would be okay, but now actually you left a little like ding, like, and you just don't know that. You don't know what all the time what the other person, you know, what they're going through. And so I think, you know, as much as we like to joke around, it's trying to figure out how to err on the side of caution, and you know, and then of course being a dad now with kids, it makes me want to be so much more aware of, okay, what am I role modeling? You know, like what do I want for them? And nobody's perfect, but it's so there's no like silver bullets. Just trying to figure out how to be directionally moving in the right space for people around.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so
but you said something about autism. You did something with autism.
I flew in some people from Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah, what was that?
Have you seen the show before? Heard of it? So there's a show called Love on the Spectrum. It's on Netflix. It's a really cool, cute show where they go to they follow the lives of autistic people dating, and it shows people all over the spectrum. You know, like high level, low level, and they find love, and it's super cool. And I think it shows a different side of it and kind of breaks the stigma of like, oh, this is a weird thing, or people that act like this, they're a different kind of category in our society, but then you realize they're just kind of part of our society. It's a very common thing, and a lot of people, even if it's not super overt, we're all on the spectrum on some reason. After hanging out with them, continuum, we're all after hanging out with them for a week,
there's like this anxiety continuum, there's ADHD continuum,
exactly.
There's this social quirkiness
continuum. So many quirks,
right?
After hanging out with them, I would tell my girlfriend and my friends, like, I think we're probably more autistic than we think, because you notice all their little like quirks and stuff that they do, and we all do that in this smaller ways. And there's this part of the show that when they introduce the people, it's like their likes are this. It's like wind blowing in the rain. It's like all these like the weirdest
like
things,
sensations.
Like, like, or this
it's like sensory
and dislikes.
Things,
like they don't like when this person does this or whatever. So I think about like the things that I like. Oh, I don't like it when there's a crumb on the ground at my house, or I don't, all these little OCD stuff too. And I think when we think about all those things, it's like, yeah, we do have all these quirks and particularities and all of it. It's just for people that are diagnosed with autism, it's a lot more overt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing, I mean, first of all, that's a really cool thing that you did. Like,
Yeah, thanks.
just because
Awesome.
it's real people, real relationships, real life. And I've had the privilege to work with a lot of autistic kids and adults throughout my career. And I can tell you that one thing I'm frequently talking to parents about is like, your kid happens to have this diagnosis, which is just a category, right? But it's it's kind of related to kind of the brain function, the brain style. And I tell you that the vast majority of the autistic people, the individuals that I see that have autism, they're really smart.
There's that guy Connor,
Really
super
really,
smart,
like
memory's amazing,
unbelievable upside potential and capacity.
Yeah.
And it's really neat to work with some of these families and these kids and young adults that if you can start to get some of those positive balls rolling through any number of mechanisms, like sky's the limit. I've seen some kids go from like basically like off the rails to now some of them are being recruited by like major employers on the mainland to go do things like in IT and all that. So it's like they're really smart individuals.
Connor, one of the stars from Love on the Spectrum, when he was explaining his autism, he was saying that he believes it's the next form of human evolution.
Yeah, no, you can see that.
I mean, you think of people like Elon, that he's autistic.
Yeah, he's pretty open about that.
Yeah, and then a lot of other people. Somebody sent me a list after that episode of all the famous people that are autistic, and there's a lot of like smart people. I don't know if it was like Albert Einstein, but it was like people like.
Yeah, no, it's like for those that want to sit around and poke fun at autism, like they make fun of autism. Those autistics are probably looking at those people like, well, you're just dumb.
yeah, for real. No, it was. I was so impressed by Connor, how smart he was, and his memory, and he loves history, and he can quote so many things,
like encyclopedic.
Even language.
Encyclopedic.
Was so good.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So
those some of those people they have like savant qualities.
Yeah.
I can remember one kid from maybe 15 years ago where the pediatrician sent him to me and no one had really tapped into autism yet because he was kind of Asperger's looking. We don't use that term anymore, but just for a general reference. And they thought, is he depressed? Does he have ADHD? And I was having a conversation, and I asked him about, what would he like to do? He said, history. Well, tell me about it. And then I said, well, tell me about history. He said, well, what era of history? And I was just like, lean forward. I don't know, Roman history? What era? And then he just went on and just started talking about that particular era, all the details, and then all the surrounding contextual factors in the Mediterranean at that time that interacted with Roman history at that time. And I was just like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, that
unbelievable.
That makes me remember this one guy on Love on the Spectrum. I think his name's like Sabat or something. You tell him any day of any year, like I'll say like April 4th, 1992, and he'll tell you what day it was, like the week out of the week it was. So you'll be like, Wednesday.
Right.
Crazy.
So your point about maybe sort of evolutionary advancement, right? Like you get a number of people that can think and process cognitively on that level with varying degrees of specialty. And I think maybe that's what we're seeing right now is a lot of elevation, for better or for worse, with all the technology and advancement. But
yeah,
arguably maybe a bunch of people on the spectrum really kind of driving it.
Are more people these days being diagnosed with autism, or like kids? I don't know if I remember seeing studies. What was the whole
statistically,
there's like that Tylenol thing where people are like,
I mean,
I'm not saying that's true, but I remember hearing people like, more kids, or even since
statistically
COVID,
we've seen that in the last
there's an increase,
decade or two.
So we're just getting more smart people.
I think arguably
we're just getting smarter.
Yeah, arguably, yeah.
That's just one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. When did you decide to not leave that, I guess, realm of the child psych?
Yeah, I feel like it's more of like an evolution, like integrating more into it.
When did you evolve into like the next treating everybody of all ages? And I guess you can talk about starting brain health.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like you start in medicine, you're seeing adults of all ages, seeing heart attacks, kidney failure, GI issues, strokes on the various specialty wards at USC, and then you start seeing adults. Depression, anxiety, OCD, eating disorders, psychosis, bipolar, all those things. Then you get into child psychiatry and you're starting to see ADHD, neurodevelopmental issues, childhood anxiety, all sorts of things. And they start working with families. I feel like then for me, that was like integrating that was like the first jump out of, or sort of adding to the tool bag that really made a difference. And I think that was one of the really neat things about living here, thinking about the culture is like because I was able to be taught and learn how to integrate some of the we describe as like family interventions or family therapy. Got to work closely with a lot of families from all socio-demographics over probably about 10 to 12 years before I started doing more direct brain treatment things, and so it was like a super valuable experience to figure out like what's a kid's potential. Like, so you see them in the slice of time and you label them with a condition or disorder, but what if we start to modify these things over time and they go from functioning here to functioning here, right? And so that was you learn a lot. You learn a lot about the human mind, the human development, human interaction. And the real value there, and the real strength and value in families and local families. So, like, amazing experience to be working with families from Hawaii who there's just certain built-in, like, the way people care for each other here that it was just unbelievable to be able to sort of enhance that in some way, and an honor and privilege to kind of be in that space with these families of different types over time. And then so. As I'm doing that, you start to for me, it's always been about, okay, what else can I learn in order to help more in the end? Like, kind of like, growing up in an athletic home, like whether you realize it or not, everything you do is just to try to get incrementally better. And I think, maybe it was watching my brother, the way he approached things, and some of his friends and then some of my teammates and things like that growing up, that and then once that athletic field is no longer there, at least for me, it's kind of like, I think that's the real value of athletic experiences. Then now in your academic and professional life, you start applying those same things. Like, is 30% success rates, is that good? Is 50%? Or what can I do to maybe elevate that to 70% or 80%? And so the progression, I think of what you're asking me, is the progression led to me thinking about and really digging into, maybe about a decade ago, looking at how, now it seems like an intuitive topic now, but 10, 12 years ago, for whatever reason, it wasn't. But sleep, right? So let's start looking at the people with psychiatric conditions, and you look at the symptom clusters of those conditions, like almost every single one of them has sleep as a symptom. So me being kind of like a daydreamer / intellectually curious, I'm thinking, well, is sleep a symptom of those conditions, or is there potentially something there that I haven't learned yet that is actually maybe more causal, or like has a deeper meaning there that we need to go figure out? And so I figured out how to start testing sleep. And then as I started doing that, so I did this so I think about it like, I think about being a child, adolescent, adult psychiatrist, like it's my craft. So I wanted to see, I'm constantly tracking, this works, this doesn't work, that profile, start tracking the data. And then so you take this margin of people that maybe I'm not having as much success with using those existing tool bags or tools in my bag. Now let's go digging into that group of people. And so sleep was the first thing I started testing. And then bang, started coming up with different things. sleep breathing issues, other problems related to sleep and sleep rhythm. And then started to figure out how to address those. And in doing so, started to close the gap.
And did you have problems with sleep
in
your whole life?
That's a really good question, because I think that was a big part of
Trying to figure out
the
for
jump.
yourself, right?
And I had to do a mea culpa with my patients that I had in the past that had a history of migraines, because truthfully, it was like this idiopathic, unexplainable phenomenon that you can't measure or see. So as docs, sometimes we're just kind of like headache patient, right? But one day, it must have been in 2000, whatever, we were at 225. It must have been like 2012, maybe. I woke up and I felt horrible. Didn't know what it was. I went to work, came home, shaking it. I try not to get through it. Next day, same thing. I feel the same way. And then I'm going to go try to do my regular exercise. And I go to do my exercise, and I just hit a wall. Like, I can't do this. And then at that point I realized, oh my God, I'm having a migraine headache. What is this, right? So I take a few pain pills, take care of it. But then that kind of really pushed me, and I just jumped right to it. I started calling my buddies who are on the main line, who are ENTs, a buddy who's a neurologist, all these things, and they're telling me to, these are the things you need to do. But I'm like, okay, what potentially is causing all this? We don't know. So I took that jump, and instead of actually testing my sleep, there was a guy in Sand Island that sells durable medical equipment, CPAPs. I called him up. Can I buy one of these things? And he sells it to me. I take it home, strap that thing on, and never had a headache after that. And then later on, diagnosed myself with sleep apnea, getting a sleep test. But so that really was part of that. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to go looking at helping figure out a way to help people, maybe this was just my manifestation. Wasn't depressed, wasn't anxious, pretty calm. I literally thought I was sleeping well.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about the quality of sleep than how long.
Yeah, it was a real teacher. Like, we don't really, like, subjectively, we have no idea how the quality of our sleep. But I would go down. I'd go down at 9, 10 o'clock. I'd wake up at like 6, 7 o'clock. No problems, right? So then as I started like looking into that with my patients, it was just like bing, 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 like positive, treat it, watch them improve. So that was like a real big jump. It's like how we integrate that. We start looking at sleep. And then I started to see more and more athletes over time where I was like, wait, I don't think these people are like intrinsically necessarily like classically depressed or anxious. And I realized, well, what is it with concussion and subconcussion or repetitive head injury? So that was another subpopulation where, okay, now I'm starting to get into getting beyond just the symptom categories or diagnoses, psychiatry, medication, maybe we use it, maybe we don't, working, family therapy, the different things, if needed, got sleep. And now it's like, well, there's more and more information about what these, even subconcussive, like even not getting knocked out and what that's doing to brain activity and risk for developing things later on, right? But there's no real way to measure that, right? There's no real way to measure that. Start to read more about how it's disrupting electrical activity, it's disrupting inflammation in the brain, and all these things that increase your risk for future depression, anxiety, headache, ADHD type symptoms. And then of course later on the big scary ones related to CTE and all this stuff. So
diet probably plays a factor too, right?
Yeah, I think for me that's kind of like
sugar and stuff.
Yes and no. I think if your sleep is off, diet becomes a bigger problem. So I like to kind of think of it like
sleep's at the top.
It's like
And
that's
it's a trickle down effect.
It's more like sleep's at the bottom.
It's like the base.
It's like the concrete.
Yeah.
It's like the concrete and rebar. You're trying to build a house, like
The foundation.
diet. I'm not saying diet's not important. Diet's important. Timing of your diet, what you're eating, how much, super important. But like for example, like don't eat late. Try not to eat after 5, 6. Because why? Because you're trying to protect your sleep. And if you're eating late after 6, 7 o'clock, well, that's stealing resources from your brain while your brain is trying to be quiet, rest, and recover. So diet is important, timing and what you're eating, but really I think getting to sleep.
Yeah. I read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker.
Great book. Yeah.
That's the first, I guess that's my first taste of digging into more of the sleep habits, and like, you know, you eat later, glucose levels are higher, and then it starts to store it as fat instead of energy or something like that. I remember stuff like that. I learned about jet lag. I learned about, you know,
yeah, he did. That's a really good.
That was
book.
one of my favorite books.
Well written, easy to.
Exactly. Yeah. And very.
I feel like everyone should read. that book.
Yeah. So it wasn't. That's when around the time I started intermittent fasting. I stopped eating late. I try not to eat past 8 p.m. because I think he said like after 8 p.m. or something.
Let's move it to like 6. It'd be good.
Yeah, because that book was a while ago.
Yeah.
I like to eat early too.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that's a great book, and that's when I started just being more aware of diet and sleep.
Yes. Yeah. So start looking at like concussion, history of concussion, all these things, and really start digging into that. And then I think what really pushed me at that point to kind of leading to where we are now and what we're doing at Bring Up Hawaii is I won't say the mechanism is concussion because someone else in my family might get upset at me. But one of my sons had a really bad concussion, and at that point, that must have been about 8-9 years ago, and I just had it kind of pushed me thinking about inflammation, electrical disruption. I had seen Dr. Carlton, who's one of my mentors at Queens Department of Psychiatry, amazing human being and servant for the community of Hawaii for like the last 40 or 50 years. Sees more patients than anybody else, but he has done some remarkable things with some of my patients years ago using ECT for people who are like really, really depressed, like catatonic type depressed. Like,
what is ECT?
Electroconvulsive therapy.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
so they like stimulate.
It's like it kind of like Control Alt Delete. And so seeing an electrical treatment work kept that in my mind. And then as I saw my son would look to me, and in my mind I was like, oh, this is an electrical disruption. But knowing that I wasn't going to apply that level of electrical stimulation on like a 5 or 6 year old, just had to go figure out. I had to go through a friend of a friend was able to connect with technology and approach that was going to be able to help in this situation, like help me help my son. And so spend some time learning, integrating. You know, I'm patient zero, and then my brother, my lawyer, some other folks in the community that were willing to kind of like come in and start
be the guinea pigs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was already clinically proven, but just and then people at my office, my work, who were able to who are wanting to try, and then their kids, and then my own son, and so that was kind of like that first. It must have been like early 2000. It's either 2018 or 2019. That was the first time that I was now able, because we had to figure out a way to a clinical measurement, a clinical biomarker that would allow us to potentially visualize the activity in the brain. Because CTs and MRIs are almost always normal unless it's like a really, really bad traumatic concussion. You actually get a bleed. Most of those studies are like just anatomical studies. They come in normal. So integrating like what you saw at work at my office, a brain map to be able to track
so the thing
how the brain cells are working together, and then pairing that with transcranial magnetic stimulation to then treat that and then track it over time as you're treating it. So that was kind of that early phase of doing it, and then using various forms of TMS over now the last 6 years or so to help. We've treated thousands.
Yeah, and there's been some amazing testimonies from you know, not just the people that we see like Mikey, Carissa, Tanoi. I saw a video with Jesse's Sepul.
Yeah. Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. And then just like everyday people coming in and just trying to. Oh, Pua was a big one. She's from Hilo. The I don't know if you guys are familiar. She went down Mauna Kea, hit her head. Or like a lot of people on Mauna Kea when it snows, people like to ride boogie boards down, and then she hit a rock like really fast, and then she was like messed up, right?
Yeah.
Like, was she brain dead?
She
was in a coma for a while, right?
Yeah, she was in a coma in the hospital, rehab, in really bad shape.
Yeah.
Amazing human being. Pua, if you're out there, hello. Her, I think now husband, I think it's Kavika.
Yeah.
Amazing human being. That was, you know.
He's a firefighter.
I think about being in Hawaii and magical experiences with people, and being in the room with amazing families, and that's one of them. Like Pua's dad, you know, the family, her then boyfriend at the time. He was just showing up, like in the way that I have a daughter. I was like, I hope my daughter meets a guy like that, and but then to just see someone like that. Really, and now we're years later, and I think she's going to nursing school, and she's just.
I remember you showed me a video.
Yeah.
Of like her finally.
Yeah, because she was a college water polo player, I believe. Yeah, and she was told she would never swim again. So that Pua's got amazing. She doesn't have a big heart. She's a lion. Like you could see her competitive drive. And it's like. She was as brain treatment was working for her, it was like over her dead body. Was she not going to start proving people wrong? Like you kind of see that. Her human spirit was unbelievable, and we were there. I think Kavika was there, and she swam.
So cool.
Maybe about two I can't remember. It was 2 or 3 months into treatment. Yeah, I'll never forget that. That was a magical journey in general, but there's kind of like these micro magical
so
moments.
Rewarding, right?
Yeah.
As somebody who's
and then to know she's in her community helping people, you know, not just kind of like because she was in pretty bad shape. Most people who go through that type of injury, they end up with like some permanent damage or disabilities, and she's integrating, going to school and professional, and she's
awesome.
Really neat.
Yeah, well, great job. Mikey O'Shaughnessy, that's one of my friends in Hilo. That's his brother, and that was a huge story on the North Shore. He basically drowned at pipeline, hit his head on the reef. He was super. I mean, I know there's a lot of crazy stories that happen at pipeline, but that was one of the biggest ones during that year.
Yep.
Maybe of all time, but it was a very popular one, and you helped him, and he was one of your like. Not biggest clients, but like one of like the craziest testimonies that you probably have is Mikey and his story.
Yeah,
and
Mikey.
I just saw him a couple of days ago actually at my friend's baby shower, and I told him I was gonna have you on, and I was telling you this the other day too, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, that guy saved my life." He's like, "Yeah, I was like so messed up and all this stuff, and now I'm firing on like the best level."
Love you, Mikey. He, the really cool thing about him is as I got to know him, as he improved his, like he spends time. He teaches autistic and disabled kids how to surf. You know, and he's like teaching them water and water navigation and everything. It's just really cool to see him stand up and start like doing the things that he normally does, and to see him like in the community was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big, huge heart.
Yeah. And so you started working with a lot of athletes, even Carissa Moore. And it's not necessarily people who are just like concussed and have head injuries, but you also just treat people who just want to optimize. Like, I think when we first did my brain map, I think I might have had like 1 or 2 concussions in my life, and pretty small. I don't ever remember like getting anything super bad.
Well, you played football. Right?
I played football, soccer, all the headers.
Headers.
I can remember times
football.
where I headbutted a punt, and I'm like, oh, that was a bad idea. But now I think, I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't have to wait until something's wrong with you.
No.
You can just go to optimize your life, like stay ahead of the curve. not wait till something's bad. You know, it's like you don't want to wait till you're sick and then finally start to change your life. You want to have these good habits and make sure that you're healthy so that you don't have to pay for sick care.
Correct. The well, I mean, yeah. So we work with I work with all types of people. In fact, I was just on the phone with do you know Auntie Blanche in Waimanalo? She's kind of like she's like a Hawaiian Mother Teresa.
I think I just met.
I
think we went to her place not too long ago.
The Aina in Waimanalo.
Yeah, because I was with this group, Whole Aina.
Yeah,
they have their own lo'i. They were doing this caravan. I think that's the one we stopped at. She has like a bunch of houses that she built.
Yes.
Oh, that was the one. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, she is a absolute force of nature. Unbelievable woman, and so like doing things like that. That's some of the most rewarding things. I have a treatment office in a van.
Oh, you have a mobile.
Yeah, so we're trying to get back. We try to go every year. We missed last year because of training, but we're getting ready to go again. And but we're able to go down there, and she's basically saving people's lives. I think they have. I think she told me they have like 100. I think they call it the Aina, so they have 100 people there now. Kids. Adults
they have like these mini
ages.
Homes that they're
there's some amazing people who business leaders in the community who have basically supported that, but it really Auntie Blanche is a force of nature, and so it's like being able to, so it's like looking at not looking at people like they're a disorder, but just looking at, okay, well, what happens if whether you're just coming off the streets and trying to get your life back together, or you're a venture capitalist, or running any number of businesses. Like we all would likely benefit from a little bit of brain training. So there's the types of TMS that we use for depression, but then there's also kind of a slightly more tailored, sophisticated version that we can use for like optimization. And so being able to help the entire continuum is pretty neat. Like, because we all have a brain. Just like you go to the gym to kind of tighten up the way the cells in your muscles and everything like that fire together. Essentially, from that point of view, we can kind of do the same thing now with the brain.
Yeah.
So you can just tighten things up. You can make the brain signals or brain cells fire together in a more efficient, stronger fashion. And as you do that, people tend to report that they're like cognitively sharper, or their ability to get through tasks. Particularly a lot of the business folks I work with, like their real return is getting through their day in a productive manner, and then at the end of the day, rather than feeling drained, having something left over in the tank.
Yeah, or they don't have that brain fog.
Or just that shutdown, right?
Middle hours, 2 to 5 after lunch, feeling tired. Like I'll never fall asleep driving at night. It could be 12. It could be going all the way to 3 a.m. in the morning. The times I get tired and I'll fall asleep driving is like that 2 to 5 o'clock window where I'm just like dozing off. But I don't get that anymore, And I think good sleep has affected that.
And your brain's firing really fast.
Yeah. So before we
you're a 12 hertz brain, which is like, I'm jealous.
He's basically saying I'm a genius. Stop it already.
But all depends on what you do with it.
Well, hopefully I'm doing some good stuff and with everything that I'm doing. But before we take a break, I want to kind of like take people through like a session. So, and then maybe you can talk about my brain scans. We can share that with people so they understand a little bit more, and people can go in. You guys take insurance, right?
Yeah. So insurance may cover for people that have what's called severe depression.
Okay.
And depending on your insurance, they have different criteria for that.
Okay.
It has to do with like, not responding to the first few rounds of other treatments, medications, counseling, like that. And if you're still severely depressed, most insurance companies will pay for TMS for depression.
Okay. So specific stuff, but so people can go in, they get a brain map.
Correct.
So you put it on and you just close your eyes for I don't know how many minutes.
5 to 10 minutes.
5 minutes, and then you can explain it, but I'm just showing this is what I do. They put it on my head, and I just zone out for about 5 minutes. They come back in, they're like, "Hey, your pal," and then you go over it with the client.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, we're using it's called a dry cap. EEG. So, people may be familiar what EEG is, and usually you have to use a bunch of gel and stickies and put it all over. But we're using a 19 region cap that's wireless, and it allows us, what we're trying to capture when you close your eyes is what's called the kind of like the resting functional connectivity of the brain. Like, how efficient is it? How fast and efficient is it? Is it organized? Is it like sleepy and overactive, or is it organized and on a continuum within that organized state, fast or slow? So basically, the thought is this. I mean, this is all described in the literature going back a few decades. Is when all of us, when we close our eyes like this, our brain goes into that resting state. It's called a resting alpha state. And what we have found is that that is one of the most reliable, sort of like clinical diagnostic measures, as well as we can track that over time in response to intervention, and you'll see shifts. So we're trying to measure. So your brain, we think the brain has about 80 billion neurons, and the organization and strength of those signals within the regions. So think of it like different radio stations within the regions, if they're all working together, and then from region to region, if they're all working together, that generally will predict improved function, like how you feel, how you think.
And so those regions are the different color.
Yeah, it's like the back of the brain. We're looking at the visual system, how organized are the electrical signal, how well are the cells firing together, and how strong. The parietal region, which is like your analytic thought, temporal, somatosensory, prefrontal, right? Start getting into thinking of like how well you think, plan, judge, ADHD type stuff, and then orbital frontal, which is decision making and attention and concentration.
And those are the tune-ups after you see the brain map. You see like what areas of the brain need,
so you can see areas of like
fire more.
So like, for example, if someone's had some sort of concussive injury, usually you'll see what we describe as like flattening or underactivity in various regions. Sleep problems will lead to sort of like increased slower activity in the brain, so that'll show up with different features.
Okay.
Yeah, people who have a lot of anxiety or trauma or restlessness, then they'll have more overactivity in different regions of the brain.
Okay, so it won't be as organized. It'll be more like all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we look at mine and?
You okay?
We have here. Yeah, it's fine. Show my brain scans. I mean, if it was bad, maybe I wouldn't say yes, but but I think it would be cool, and you can kind of explain it, because when you explain it to me, it's so interesting. So if you're just listening, he's pulling it up on his laptop right now. So you can show it in that camera.
So you can zoom into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they should be able to see it if you just hold it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But try to talk into the mic.
How about right
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. I could hold it like this, and you can talk in the mic.
Well, the question is, can I see it?
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm getting old.
There we go.
So what I do is I have your brain map here next to something that might be a little more ideal, sort of like organized. So back of the brain to the front. This would be a representation of efficient, organized, strong signaling, but not as fast as yours. Okay. So if you look here, this is yours, and your brain. So you want to see these triangles. Your brain is organized in the eyes closed state at close to 12 hertz. So think of that like internet speed.
Oh, okay.
Most of us are somewhere between maybe 9 and 10.5, 11, with most high performers between 11 and 12, and you're settled right here at about 12 hertz back to front.
And that's my most recent one.
Yes.
What did do you know what I started off as?
Yes, let me close this here. So I don't know if it shows up here in the camera or anything, but you can see when you came in, you were settled around 11, which for some people that's actually really good, but that's not optimal for you. As we see over time, you've jumped up to 12.
So this is from April to November.
Correct. Now, you can see here, you kind of see these thickenings and kind of this wobbly, thick look here. That's likely there's some residual sleep issues that we need to get to. And if we can clean that up, you may be able to gain even more function.
Yeah.
But all that said, you're like 12 hertz. That's pretty fast.
That's very cool. So it just helps me with my decision making, like even as an athlete,
yeah,
like doing the
making the right play, reaction time. So you were probably like most of the people that have a chance to be in college or maybe even pro will be kind of like 11, 12 hertz brain. Think of that like not just internet speed, but reaction time.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been a pro, but it was my body that.
Well, you are a
keep
pro,
up.
right?
My brain, pro Portuguese. But yeah, that it's cool to know and have that. I guess reassurance of like, okay, my mind is firing, and I am kind of on the right path.
Yes.
You know, and it's exciting as well knowing that it can be better, because as somebody, you know, who's played sports their whole life and is just, you know, I wouldn't say I'm obsessed, but is interested in the idea of always getting better and improving. It's cool to see that, you know, as because you see the physical changes,
Correct.
right? You
Yep.
lift weights, your muscles get bigger. You know, you run, you don't get tired as fast. But for this, we don't really know besides our like everyday function. Like, oh, maybe today I wasn't as tired, or maybe, you know, in this interview I didn't mess up the intro. You know, like I read faster or whatever. But those aren't things that we can really see. Like they're
Correct.
not like
Yeah.
tangible things. So to see the studies, you know, like that.
To see the
for
data,
me as
right?
a client.
Yep.
It's really cool. Same with like tracking my sleep
Right.
and waking up and seeing, oh, that's so cool.
Well, I think you the alpha state or alpha speed that we just described at 12 hertz. It's called the brain rhythm, and it was that measurement was being described in the medical literature maybe 20, 30 years ago. And it's largely thought to be a biologic trait. So you get to thank your mom, dad, and grandparents.
Oh, okay.
Somebody or a group of people in your family.
So what happened to my siblings?
Well, maybe maybe they're okay, you know. But so it is a biological trait.
Okay, so
Yeah.
shout out mom and dad.
Shout out.
Grandpas, everybody.
We can get to the era of not blaming them for everything. We can thank them for the
right on.
potential they've bestowed upon us.
I am the way I am because of them. And
What-
that's a very Hawaiian thought.
It would it would be curious to hear what are the things you notice comparatively, like when you were predominantly settled in at 11 hertz compared to now at 12 hertz, if you notice anything at all.
Yeah, well, I think it's for me, it's there's a lot of variables because I did surgery, so I'm not as active, which can, you know, I think affect different parts of the brain, right? Or like different times of my career where I'm busier because I have these events, not just podcasting, I'm doing these other things. So I think as I get healthier physically, my mind also kind of parallels that.
Sure.
So I think there's definitely like a trend going up of both things getting better and making me fire at the same time. Like I have no problem just working through things and just like doing things I don't want to do, but just getting it done. Like I tell people, like I just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like I'll get it done. Like if I just have to do it for hours at a time.
Do you think that your girlfriend would know that? Did she observe any differences when you were 11 versus when you were 12?
I don't know.
I wonder. Sometimes that's the significant others that pick up on the.
I have
some of the
to
differences.
reflect a little bit more. So I'm trying to think. So it's from April. I'm trying to think what I was doing in April to now.
So think of like your capacity, your capacity for work
So
and volume.
that's one thing.
'Cause that's what
and
that's what we'd expect.
I've talked to you about that, and my visits is that I definitely, and you reassured that I have a capacity to do things that my sister or girlfriend,
Most people
they don't have.
Yeah, I don't have that. speed.
It was good too because it made me more empathetic. Because sometimes, because I live with my sister and my girlfriend, and I'd kind of get on them for like, I'm doing 10 more things than you guys throughout the day, and I can still do this other thing that I said I was gonna do. And sometimes they could only do like 2 or 3 and they're tired or whatever. But knowing that, okay, it makes sense because I have a higher capacity because my brain can, you know, handle it. That's why I'm doing these things, and I'm not, I guess, being lazy, because there's times where I can be lazy and I don't want to do anything, you know. But but yes, this year there's been so many times, like especially when I was in the maid in Hawaii, I was moving, I was doing all this stuff, and I wasn't overwhelmed. Like, it was stressful because there's a lot of things you got to do and you're tired. Like, I didn't sleep a lot, but I don't get to a point where like anxious
sure.
and like I don't think I can do it.
You keep moving. You keep moving.
Like,
yep.
now, and I guess it is this year where like I don't get burnt out. I don't feel like it's too overwhelming. Like, there's always, and I was talking to you about this the other day, is like, as an entrepreneur, there's always things to do.
Something.
You don't work a 9 to 5, you work 24/7. There's always things to do. Like, I can just relax, but knowing there's things I have to do later. The thought isn't daunting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
It is pretty cool.
Get overwhelmed.
Like you're in this generation where you're really creating something out of scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually talking to my wife about that. She's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've never done anything like this before." But when I talked to Kamaka, this guy's like doing like a real entrepreneurial thing. Like, you're building something from nothing.
Mm-hmm. And I like that. And I like doing
it's
multiple
amazing.
things.
That's why when you told me the other day you're doing these different partnerships, like, wait a minute, how does that work? What are you doing? Because it's really neat. You hear about people like taking over companies or doing things, or like maybe even in like my profession, there's like a structure for it. But you're like the real deal. Like, you're
creating
just out of just fabricating it like a quilt. You're making it happen. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's my curiosity, my work ethic,
your brain speed.
My brain speed. I
thank you, mom and dad. Thank you, mom and dad.
Thank you, mom and dad.
Yeah.
I always tell my girlfriend, like, I'm a good multitasker. Like, I can text and talk to somebody. I can watch something while working. Like, I can handle all of those and process things.
Yeah.
So it makes sense now with all the things that I'm doing. People are like, you're the busiest guy in Hawaii, and how do you do
still
everything?
You still have a smile.
Yeah. And I make time for the things that I love. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I work a lot,
You really
but
have to.
I
really have to.
I choose when I work. Like, I make my whole morning free so I could do my health things. I could do my physical therapy. If I want to surf, I can do that. And then, I work when I need to work,
Yeah.
If it's at 11 o'clock at night, then I'll work at night, or on a Saturday or Friday.
Well, we gotta work on the 11 o'clock.
Yeah. I always have to.
That'll become more serious for you when you're like in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah. I'm trying to get better at sleeping early, but we'll work on it. We'll figure that out. But let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with social media questions, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Got it. Thanks.
All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. Let's get right into the social media fan questions. Something I was just curious before we start this. Do you always like to be called Dr. Jason, Dr. Keifer?
No, it makes no difference.
So Dr. Jason, Dr. Keifer, it doesn't matter. It's just,
some people call me Jason, some people call me Doctor. Makes no difference.
What about this, like the first name, last name one? If you just had to choose like Dr. Jason, Dr. Keifer.
Makes no difference.
Is it always, but like majority of doctors, they go by their last name, Dr. Keifer?
I think in general, the majority go by last name, but it doesn't really make a difference.
Okay. Just curious, random thought.
Yeah.
All right. First question comes from Crazy Cats 9. This person says, "What conditions can a brain map reveal?"
A whole host of things, including based on the brain activity pattern in the map. There's certain profiles that correlate with ADHD. Concussion, new or old. PTSD tends to have a certain look. People with depression, there's a number of different looks in terms of the brain activity and the brain maps. But in some cases, we can pick up on headache patterns within the brain. So those are probably some of the main things that we see.
So you can see that immediately once you see somebody's brain scan?
Sometimes there's there's a condition called tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. So people say tinnitus. Sometimes that's related to things going on in the middle of the ear, but sometimes it's actually related to brain activity and these temporal or auditory regions of the brain. So sometimes we can see that as well.
How did you know that I had sleep apnea just from me opening my mouth?
In many cases, if not most cases, the probably the most significant risk factor that we see, that we've identified over the last 10 years, correlating or sort of causing sleep disorder breathing or apnea is the, I guess, for lack of we'll just use a general term, like a narrow palate.
Okay, so if I'm
So a narrow roof of the mouth.
So
if you look up there, let's see. So yours is mildly narrow and it starts to kind of like dome up.
Okay.
Right? So the roof of the mouth is the floor of the nose, right? And nose breathing is very, 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 very important.
And I'm a mouth breather.
Largely because
I don't get enough oxygen to my nose.
Think of like the skeletal hallway or the straws you breathe through are not wide enough. In your case, given you're an athlete and you have a mildly narrow palate, from a probability standpoint, it's partially related to the narrow airway up here, and probably partially related, like you probably have a mildly deviated septum that's contributing to that too.
Okay, and can you tell from my nose just looking at it upward like that?
Yeah, there's a slight deviation to the left.
So like this one is smaller.
You're still handsome. You're still handsome.
Thanks. That's the main thing.
That's it. It gives character.
Okay, yeah. It's all right though. I already have my girlfriend. I don't like. I can get fat. I can get lazy. I can get whatever. She's stuck. Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Johnny_Loans. You might know this person. He says, when Jason puts his mind to something, there's no obstacle he can't overcome to make it happen. He's always been like that. It's pretty amazing. Seeing him calmly doing all these difficult things is powerful. He's one of a kind. And then he follows up. He wants to know, how has your brother influenced you?
Oh, tremendously. Tremendously. In so many different ways, because I learn best from just watching people. And so being the youngest in a family is just watching from a very young age just how he approached people in life. Like, he's hardworking. He's unbelievable. He genuinely cares. He's like the most likable guy in the world. I'm not nearly as likable as he is. And that's both been challenging footsteps to follow him, but also kind of like inspiring, and you see how he carries himself too. So, and he he was the first person in our family to graduate from college. So it was kind of like, we never really talked about it, but it was just kind of a trailblazer from that standpoint.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So
Super cool.
those are just probably a few of the ways, and then I've watched him evolve into a father, and the way that, he's got two wonderful kids that are now, one's an adult in college, one's in high school, and wonderful wife, and just to see how he's kind of fashioned that life and carries himself in the way that he does is pretty
shout out to him.
pretty admirable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he comments on my stuff on social media, and I think I crossed paths with him once at Brainhout, but he didn't say it. He told me later, like, oh yeah, I saw you walk in, and I was like, oh, you should have said hi.
Yeah.
But yeah, seems like a cool guy. How do you think you influenced him?
Honestly, I have no idea.
When I see him, I'll ask him.
I have no idea. I'm sure I'm just, I'm the youngest of a large family, so I'm just, I was probably more of an annoyance than anything else.
Yeah. One thing that you said that I wanted to ask about is, you saw him do these things and you were inspired. I feel like that's how my brain works.
Yep.
But just meeting people throughout life, and I don't know if it's childhood traumas or just different environments where they grew up in, those things can discourage people,
For sure.
So it's like, oh, he was the first person to graduate, or he's so good at this, or you're able to do all these things, and it can be discouraging to some people.
Well, it's super, I think it's interesting as you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind, knowing my experiences, not anybody else's experiences, but it was never talked about, right? I think possibly some of the discouraging factors is if it became like, well, so-and-so did this, you got to do that. It was just for whatever, probably for better, it was just never like that in our family. We just were always constantly in the moment, in the day.
Yeah.
And so then watching someone else start to do something different over time, like the process in of itself was inspiring. It was never really any discussions. I guess he made me get back on the plane, to go back to medical school,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
huge. That's a big deal. But,
That's true.
But I don't know that I influenced him any.
Yeah. But I feel like even, especially with social media, which you're not really on social media, but that's why some people are more depressed because they're comparing things
Yes.
to everybody. So
I think that's
for me,
that's shown.
I see things that I'm just like, wow, that person has $1 million. I'm not like, I will never be able to, or somebody just bought a house in Hawaii. I'm not thinking like, oh, I'll never be able to buy a house in Hawaii. It's so hard. I'm thinking, oh, how can I do that so I can, that motivates me, that encourages,
Sure.
like somebody's better than me at a sport or at a video game. I'm like, oh, I want to be better than you. I want to practice and put in the work so I'm better. Whereas some people, they're like, oh, I'll never be able to do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I think that kind of gets back to what we talked about earlier. I think that a lot of that has to do with, like, I really think that's the real value of childhood sports and athletics, right?
I
It's huge,
believe in that.
huge cultural
Failing
community
and-
relationship
yeah.
value of, like, you know, because like, what is discipline? It's like just showing up and doing the stuff
Even
that
when you don't want
even
to.
don't want to do it, and that's really, you know, there's crazy dads out there making their, you know, kids even when they don't want to, and you know, I think somebody did that for you, right? And over time, you just developed that process. You integrated that process, which then that plus your brain speed allows you to kind of like think the way you do, problem solve the way you do, and then take failures and just keep moving through, right? Because especially football, right? As much as it is a head injury sport, there, I mean, there's real, you know, collide with people, get knocked on your butt, and then you got to go do it again 30 some seconds later. Like that, you're learning a lot about yourself in life.
Or even taking criticism, and it's not always constructive. They were like, why did you miss that pass? Like, why did you miss that block?
Right.
Like, you sucked out there. To me, I mean, nobody really says it like that, but I'm saying, like,
Some coaches do.
some people do, yeah. But if somebody tells me that, like, oh, you could have done better on that play, like, here's what you could have done better, then to me that's encouraging. But for somebody,
True.
let's just
Yeah.
use a real life example of just me and my girlfriend, how we take criticism. If I tell her, like, oh, you should have done that, then she shuts down. If you tell me I should have done that, I'm like, okay, then I'm thinking, okay, how can I do it better next time? And I think there's, like, different
Wait, so
people.
so what happens? You tell her what?
So
she
so
does?
if you told me, if you gave both of us criticism, and you said, like, why didn't you make that pass? And then I'll probably
No, but this was you.
explain it.
This was you and your girlfriend. You
I'm using that as an example.
but you would
because-
say something to her, and she would say what?
So she would shut down more.
Oh,
So she'd get discouraged by hearing that.
well, that's
For me, I'm encouraged.
No, that-
because I
that-
want to be better.
that's just marriage. You're married.
But I'm just trying to use it as an example of people, because I could use any other person in those examples. I'm just trying to keep it as close
Right.
as possible.
Right.
Because I grew up just playing sports, being yelled at and all that stuff.
Sure.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's like, you tell me I suck, I'm like, okay, how can I be
right?
better?
If you could,
Yeah.
if you have enough love and support around you that allows you to survive and learn from that, yeah, I think you end up with extra skin. And I think it would be great if over time more and more kids could experience the positive side of that over time and not give up. Because I think the end result is, yeah, you show up as a young adult or older, like with a certain thickness to your skin, a certain, grit or ability to just keep going, even if it's difficult or even when challenged or told no.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think sports, definitely did that to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if there's, like, a part of the brain, but it just, I think the more older I get and the more people I meet, I realize that everybody is the way they are because of what happened in childhood.
It plays a big role,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from Lanai. He just called me actually when you were outside. He says hi. Well, when I said I was here with you, he was like, Jason, but I was like, hey, he's not here. But that's basically what he said. He says, what type of frequency does the treatment put out? Is it a type of PEMF? And if not, tell Kamaka to show you the P90 plus.
I'd love to see the P90 plus. I've been hearing about PEMF more and more in the last 6 to 12 months. I have, because I haven't had time to kind of read into it, understand the applications, but I'm super curious. So where's Lanai? Is he here with the people?
He's not here.
Okay.
We have some machines. There's a warehouse where you can try it as well. We can get you set up with that. But he wants to know if the frequency, what type of frequency does the treatment put out?
Well, it's going to vary depending on the individual. But
Okay.
usually anywhere from, on average, anywhere between 10.0 and 11.0 hertz is the frequency. And then there's a number of different parameters that are involved there in addition to the frequency that are part of it's the actual treatment is a magnetically induced pulse. So think of like if you've ever had an MRI, MRIs use like 1.0 to 3.0 Tesla is the unit of measurement. That level, that magnitude of energy, if you've ever felt it, you can feel it, right? So what we're using is a similar magnetically induced current, about 0.1 to 0.2 Tesla. So it's dialed down quite a bit. So as you know, you hardly feel it.
Okay. So do you have to be very cautious of like doing the right amount for each person? Because what if you did it like way stronger? Will that mess people up? Or what's the margin of error, I guess I'm asking?
Like what, I can just tell you what we've seen. Like you can deliver treatment to slightly above what's called the motor threshold, which is a pretty hard, pretty intense level of energy or stimulation. And then we could also do much lower, which is what you experienced. And so depending on like who you are and what else you have going on and what you're being treated for would kind of help us to sort of really kind of personalize the way that you receive treatment and kind of like make it tolerable, comfortable, and effective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there such thing as too much, like doing too many treatments?
We haven't really seen, again, if thinking, it's like a lot of it's about rest period, right? Just like work, is there such a thing as working out too much? Your body, right? Think of that. Well, yeah, if you don't sleep well and all these different things, you could overexert and then end up not feeling very well. And so we've had people do hundreds and hundreds of treatments over time, and haven't seen that. It hasn't been described in the literature either, and a lot of it has to do with being able to make small adjustments, small but significant adjustments to treatment. I think maybe has a lot to do with it. But I think, again, it's just going back to like thinking of it like the exercise analogy. Yeah, as long as that's a big part of how we approach it is like looking at all these other health and medical variables, getting those things anchored and established allows the brain and the brain cells to kind of respond like other cells in your body, the way your muscles respond to workouts.
Okay, cool. Thanks for answering that. Next question comes from Aggie Tarrant. Do you know? I don't know if you know that username. It's Alex.
Oh, okay.
Alex.
Alex.
Shout out to him. He says, thank you for interviewing Jason. Can you ask a question about the brain and addiction, e.g. alcohol and head trauma?
Yes. And it's like a specific question or just general?
He said he just asked a question about it. So I guess if you can maybe just talk about brain and addiction, and I guess maybe causes.
Yeah. So I'd say like
treatments.
Let's see if we can tackle this in layers. Like most of the time, in my professional opinion, my experience, most people aren't addicts in the way that you think. You know, like you're an addict, like you're just a filthy addict. I think that most people that I've encountered that have engaged in persistent overuse of substances usually started somewhere. Started somewhere because they had like some intense psychological pain, and that substance, whether it's alcohol or opiates or whatever, just kind of temporarily resolved it, or headaches, or a post-operative thing, or they got a lot of stuff going on at home or through childhood that just haven't quite figured out, and so it's like a temporary numbing, then turns into a dependence, and then fast forward months to years, and now it's an addict, and the most common brain pattern that we find and that we see, the top two would be slower or underactive in the frontal region of the brain. So think of that kind of like ADHD or easily distracted and making inconsistent or maybe impulsive decisions. So people that tend to have that type of pattern will gravitate to things like Ritalin, Adderall, meth, things that are stimulating, turning it on, because in the moment it's giving them focus, giving them attention. But then if you keep doing it over and over again, before you know it, the absence of it means you feel really, really bad.
And then that's the withdrawals.
That's the withdrawals. Now you're an addict. Okay.
And it could be the same for coffee.
Potentially, but I think because I know I've been through caffeine withdrawals before, and that wasn't fun.
Yeah, because my girlfriend drinks coffee, and she says sometimes it's either she's not drinking enough water, or maybe she just didn't drink coffee.
Yeah,
She gets a headache.
caffeine withdrawal is real.
Yeah.
And I'd say the other, probably if you're thinking about the next most common pattern we see in the brain with addicts is like people who have a lot of anxiety or a lot of trauma. And so those are people that simultaneously have a lot of extra slow or sleep wave activity in the brain, and also simultaneously have a lot of overactivity. So they're restless, fidgety, cognitively worried, but at the same time tired and exhausted. And many of those people over time will gravitate to things that calm them down, take the edge off the overactivity or the anxiety component, whether that's benzos, clonazepam, Xanax, alcohol, cannabis, right? And then over time, the more you rely on it, at some point your body becomes dependent on it. So that if you stop, now your overactivity in your nervous system just goes through the roof.
And people with more addictive personalities, they fall more into becoming an addict. Because what if for example, I have an addictive personality, I binge stuff, like if I, not really much these days, but like if I were to eat, I would be like,
yeah,
eat a
but
bunch.
I think it's a combination. If you're thinking about addiction, I think if I were to kind of give you distill some of the observations and experience I've had over the last 20 plus years, it's like, I think it's a combination of there's maybe just enough disruption or inefficiency in the brain in various areas, usually related to a history of concussive to subconcussive activity plus or minus sleep issues. And then if you combine that with maybe not having your life set up in a way that maybe like your spouse or your wife is supportive, your family life is, on the positive trajectory, and or you feel productive and meaningful at work or whatever you're doing in your craft, like having all of those three boxes checked over time is going to really safeguard someone from becoming an addict.
Because you're trying to fill that void.
That's right. It's this combination of, it's not just purely physiological, although that will elevate your risk. It's also like these relational factors. Like, do you have that, it's bidirectional, right? Like my home's only going to be good as I invest in it, but also the investment in me, and is that a meaningful thing over time? Same thing at work, professionally or educationally, feeling fulfilled, like really digging into things, learning things, applying things, helping people. Like, I think for me, I think if I think about some of the things that are most protective for me from, potentially having addictive potential is like my wife's amazing, her family's amazing. Work is just this unbelievable pursuit of like, how many more people can we help, and in what ways, I think because I've been through brain treatment myself, I hope that all the old concussions I have from like football and different things growing up, hopefully those things are taken care of. But I think getting back to your question, it's like, I think you got to work to check all of those boxes. I think to truly, we've seen to truly help people who are. We've helped a lot of people that have pretty significant addiction.
Okay.
Opiate addictions, alcohol addictions, pill addictions, meth and heroin. Those are some of the harder ones because it's almost like you've really progressed into substances that the withdrawal, the intensity of the drug itself and the withdrawal is so incredibly severe.
Does addiction always have a negative connotation? Like, What if I'm like addicted to working, but like my work is?
Like I said, I
volunteering at the-
think technically from a psychiatric perspective, it's like depends on how much we describe it as functional impairment. Like how much is that?
What if I just love sports and I'm addicted to watching sports?
So, like for example, your context would matter, right? Like if you're addicted to sports and you're losing all your money, yeah, maybe you're an addict.
The gambling.
If you're married with kids and you're addicted to sports, and now that's really starting to screw with your marriage and your kids, well, now maybe that's. So it's really defined by like how much. If you're a single guy, you've got nothing else that you really need.
If
to
it's
be
not
met.
affecting other parts of your life.
It's really hard to technically call it an addiction.
Or is it something that?
But it'd be more like you love it. It's an
it
obsession.
could be a self-diagnosis of like
It's obsession. I mean, it's a way of describing it.
I'm distracted at one point. I'm like, oh, I have ADHD, but I don't have ADHD.
Right.
I'm sorry, ADD.
Like my wife might say you're addicted to work. I'm like, no, I'm not. But like probably times she's saying it, she's right. Like I'm at home, but I'm actually thinking about problem solving at work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so maybe I am.
It's just all contextual.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question comes from my dad, Michele Hallelu, 33. He wanted me to ask you about our friend and past podcast guest, Etienne Aurelius. His daughter, she has been in a coma for over like 30 days. I think she's 2 years old.
Wow.
She apparently, the story goes, she was suffocated. The mom said like she rolled herself up in the car and like suffocated. And it's kind of a weird story. We don't know if like something was going on with the mom or whatever. But on paper, she's suffocated and she had irreversible brain damage. So she's been in a coma in the hospital for over a month. And Etienne's been doing all these things to like try to stimulation stuff, this little helmet thing that has like red light.
Okay.
It kind of looks like a helmet when you put it on, and like this stuff you put on and it like stimulates the movement and stuff. So he's been doing
2.
She's 2.
Oh boy.
And he's always posting stories. He's like I describe him as like the Hawaiian Kanye West. He's very out there and very opinionated and like.
Who's the Hawaiian?
This Etienne Aurelius. He's like a filmmaker, and he was on the podcast before, so some of the audience might know.
At some point, I'd love to meet the Hawaiian.
Oh, you gotta
Kanye West.
Man, if you did his brain, it would be. He's like a genius, but he's like so all over the place.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. But like he does incredible work. But his daughter had this tragic event, and now she's just been in the hospital. Like they said, she's brain dead, but like she's still alive. Like. Her brain scans or like her readings are fine. He posted and everything, but she's just brain dead. And he says it's irreversible.
Oh,
and he's like he's like suing them and saying all this, trying to get all legal and stuff. But anyways, by the time this comes out, I'll probably meet him and get more information.
That's so sad.
But basically, my dad was just wondering if you had any insight or help on how she could possibly recover as like somebody who studies the brain.
It's hard to, I mean, just based on the information you're telling me, like it doesn't sound very good. I mean,
after
things
30
like,
days, it's
things
like
you're relaying information, so I don't, I'm assuming it's medically accurate, right? So, brain dead. Coma, 30 days, 2 years old. Like that's, heart breaks for that family, that kid. I think, you hope and pray that something could happen, but based on the information you're telling me, if it is that bad, miracles happen. Mm-hmm. Miracles happen. You kind of hope and pray that there's a miracle that could happen.
How accurate is the information that's given by the hospital? Like if they say it's on paper, they do MRI or whatever, and they said irreversible brain damage, it's basically would take a miracle for that to not be true. Yeah,
I mean, generally speaking, using medical terms like brain death, there's a series of tests, objective tests that are likely to have been done that would then make that diagnosis. So I think it's that's probably true because again, if they're seeing it, I mean, there's no reason to think that it's not true if they're putting it down in the medical record.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
really sad.
He's kind of opinionated, and he's has these theories of like they're trying to.
But I don't.
I mean, kill the kids and get their organs and stuff like that.
Oh,
that's what he's saying.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, but conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But of course, I don't know if that's true or not as well. But
that's really sad.
It's very sad, super sad. 2 years old, you don't ask for that. But there's nothing, because he's saying he's getting all these like high tech equipment, and
I mean,
there's nothing that that can.
I mean, I think it sounds like if they're
change.
Not that I would say that this is necessarily going to reverse, but sounds like they're doing things that would be the things that you would want to do if somebody had a brain injury, right? This just sounds like it's very serious and tragic.
Okay.
But
when somebody is in a coma, for the longer they're in a coma, the less likely they are to wake up, right? Statistically, because I think I googled it.
Yeah.
Because I was curious, and people stay in that state for like, it's possible for them to stay in that state forever as long as they don't pull a plug. I've had. I've definitely seen that in my medical career, right? Like people don't want to let somebody go, and they just keep them as a vegetable.
Yeah. Because again, I think many of them are hoping and praying for a miracle. Some people who have lived through that experience that I've had the privilege of working with would describe, and through their own perceptions and their own activity, they're having relationships with the parents or whoever it is. So I think that's why it's such a hard call to make in terms of what to do in many of these situations, because it's real people, it's real lives, real families.
Yeah.
And how do you make that decision?
It's tough.
It's hard. It's hard to imagine.
Totally.
It's hard to imagine being in that position.
Well, just hoping for the best for Etienne and Max. Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, there's some sort of breakthrough. Okay. Last question comes from Angela Keene. She wanted me to ask you to share about her story because she says you saved her life. So there's a lot of people that are saying that you saved a lot of lives. So it's pretty cool feeling.
It's a team effort. We have a really neat team of docs and techs and nurses and admin. It's kind of like we're all rowing together, the same boat. Makes a big difference to be able to help people that way. Oh, the Angela was interesting because I remember, I forget who it was that called me and said, like, sending someone over to you and please help her. And they said her name. It's like, do you know who she is? I have no idea who she is because I didn't grow up here and I don't watch television. And so it kind of told me, and then I was expecting a TV personality to show up, but she showed up and it looked like she was in a really bad state. She had a really bad case of long COVID and then eventually developed a really bad depression, which frequently people who suffer from long COVID brain will also develop co-occurring like severe depression. So it was a long road for her, and to her credit, she just kept showing up, and she does a lot of reading, she does a digging, so she was continuing to integrate things that would also help her. And I think it was like, through that process, she really went from having a brain map that looked like it was like shutting down, almost looking from a neural slowing perspective, almost looked like people that we see that are significantly older, like in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and look like they're starting to have like cognitive impairments.
Oh wow, like dementia.
Yeah, like almost like pre-dementia, like really cognitively slowed and shut down, and like incapable of like sustained sophisticated work at the time. And then fortunately she's had a really good response over about a year or so. and I mean, I saw her a few months ago, and she looks fantastic, and she's like firing on all cylinders, and
Cool.
and pretty dynamic and working and doing a lot of good in the community, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that was just to the treatments, just like firing.
Yeah,
parts of
treating
her brain.
sleep, treating her brain. I think there were a few other things that she needed to address that I'd probably let her disclose, but yeah, just kind of looking at, and then we see this a lot. We're still seeing it. I wish we could have that kind of success with everybody who had long COVID and then has depression. I think we probably get to about maybe 70 and 80% of the people with long COVID will have a good response. She was able to hang in there and do like extra treatments, so I think which really made the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so cool just to hear these testimonies of, people with these traumatic experiences coming up on the other side through this innovative kind of technology. So,
well, it was interesting.
It
was like the right time, right place, I think. And then thinking about the COVID shutdown, but then also the way COVID affected the body and inflammation in the brain and sleep.
Well, even kids, right? The development of kids, right, slow down through COVID. With I think I remember seeing something about like people were.
No, but the amount of time that we were shut down, I forget.
It was
like
two
a couple.
years.
It was 2 years, right? That was
it was March or February 2020 until like end of 2021 when really things were like opening up again.
Got it.
Yeah, so about 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy times.
Crazy. And now we're just
normal. Like
back to normal.
And it's like the flu now. Crazy.
Are we back to normal? Are we back to normal?
We'll never be back to normal.
What is normal?
Yeah, exactly. Mahalo, everybody, for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for our next guest. Maybe your question will make it on the podcast. Coming to the back end of the podcast, and I like to ask all of my guests the same question about keeping it aloha. It's the name of my show. It's what I try to do every single day of my life. So I just want to know in your life, how do you keep it aloha?
How do I keep it aloha? That's a good question. Well, one, just my day to day, I just try to, as a doc, I just try to help people. But really, I think if I think about keeping it aloha, it really is me not being from here, but being drawn to that. Really just having to, whether it's every day or every week, just really reconnect with the kind of like the aloha role models in my life, which would be like my wife, my wife and her family. I don't know if I ever need to sort of like role models or people that really carry themselves with aloha and the way that they give and just give and give and give and take care. That'd be my wife, her mom and dad. So my mom and dad, they're pretty special people. In
Awesome.
The way that they take care of not just their family, but you just see the way that they just generally take care of other people as well. So
Beautiful.
My wife always, she's always on me about being a haole, and she ribs me. Don't forget, I thought you were local until you started talking. So
That's usually what
just shut up, stop talking so much. So that helps too.
That's funny.
That helps
Well,
too.
how did you meet your wife?
At Indigo.
What is that, Indigo?
It was a restaurant downtown,
Okay.
Chinatown. So they had this thing called First Fridays.
Okay. But it's not open anymore.
I don't know. I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
So me and a friend used to go down there every Friday right after work, and they had like good but inexpensive martinis. And so you go down there at 4 or 5 and have drinks, and we met there
Oh, wow.
just randomly.
And just hit it off.
Just hit it off.
And been together ever since.
Been together. And
4 kids later.
And then, what was it? I guess we're coming up on our... Oh, shit, she's going to kill me. 17th or 17th.
Okay.
Wedding anniversary. So we got married. We got engaged on Christmas Day. I think it was 2008. And then, as it turns out, we got married the next day.
Right outside
here.
the studio.
Right,
Crazy.
like 4 doors down.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then we threw a wedding party reception kind of thing in Waimanalo like 6 or 7 months later. But
Nice.
Yeah. So
So
and then
you got
next thing you know,
engaged and then married the day
we met
after?
the day after.
Wow.
And then before I knew it, we were having kids. I had twins. They're now 14, boy,
Oh, I
girl.
didn't know you had twins.
Boy, girl twins are 14. And then my two younger sons, 9 and 11.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Nice.
Not going anywhere. You know, Hawaii is the best place. I can't.
Yeah.
I really could not imagine being anywhere else. It's like the best place to raise kids.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about community and wanting community. I think it's just built into the fabric here, and community of like families, coaches at every level, like just amazing people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about being a dad?
That's a really good question. I feel like there's I never thought about that.
What's the
before.
most rewarding thing?
What's the most my favorite thing about being a dad? I don't know. I really like watching them grow up, and to whatever extent I'm able to sort of like hopefully help them and not screw it up too much. Is just kind of be part of that journey. Yeah, and then now we're going through something unique because we have our first teenagers, and I've been through it 1,000 times with people and their kids, but going through it live, I'm like, now I have to like take off my doctor hat and talk to my friends that have older kids, and I'm like, wow, this is what it's like to actually go through it. And they'll kind of look at me like, yeah, like buckle up, you know. But no,
It's different when it's your own.
But so having to kind of adapt and adjust and really try to figure that out, and like I said, hopefully not screwed up, and but really just watching them grow up and become like the human beings that they are. And then my wife does such a great job with them.
Cool.
So they're in good hands. Hopefully I don't screw it up.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, what I guess is like the number one thing you'd want people to know about the brain?
The number one thing. Wow, that's tough. Right? Because I think of so many things that.
I guess what is
that's
a very important thing that we should know and we should try to implement into our life?
That's a good question. I say I can think of like 5 or 6 different things. So you're gonna force me. So I'm gonna say I'm speaking to the people that don't like the way they feel or where they are in life. And I think the one thing that we've really learned probably in the last decade that was not known 30, 40 years ago, right? Because when like I'm growing up, we're learning, we were thinking of the brain or what's going on inside here. It was like a black box. Like whatever it was, you were stuck with it. And I think it's really important for people to know that that's just not true. Like the brain the brain has neuroplasticity. It can change. So there are things that you can do and things that you can do over time that can improve the quality and the strength of your brain. And that can translate into real change for people. You know, whether you're going from like not doing well to just above water, or being above water and doing really well, or doing well and really like closing that gap, like really being as efficient and productive and feeling as good as possible. Like change is possible.
Even when you don't think it is, like me, I can never sleep more than 8 hours.
Yeah, it is. And truthfully, it's a known concept now, but go back 20, 30, 40 years ago, and that wasn't the belief. It's kind of like, you know, we have to continue to update, you know, through scientific process and observation and clinical experience, and we just, you know, I'm fortunate to get a chance to see that over and over again, like improving and changing your brain is possible, and it can have lasting impacts and a ripple effect, like positively in your life as you start to do that.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And I that is encouraging to hear, as you know, somebody who's, you know, pretty stubborn. Like I can never go to sleep before 11 o'clock.
Well, these are the stories.
My brain is just wired like this.
If there's one thing, the other thing I've learned about human beings is all of us, myself included, we're really good at rationalizing and telling ourselves stories, right? I could never do that. That's why. But really, those, in many ways, those are kind of the ceilings that we're putting on ourselves. But oftentimes, especially as a kid or a young man, it's like if you haven't experienced it yet, it doesn't seem possible, but it is. But it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's the future for you and Brain Health? What does the next couple of years look like?
I don't know. Like I'm fortunate to work with some really amazing people, amazing doctors, and honestly, I don't know. We're constantly trying to figure out things that we can integrate to close the gap. We want to go from 80 to 90% success rates, depending on the condition, to we want to close that. I mean, I guess nothing works 100% of the time, but we might as well try. We might as well be in that process of. It's like in your work, right? You're not going to get it perfect, but you are trying. And along the way, you're finding ways to get better, and really that's what our team, we're constantly looking at. What are the things we can integrate in our clinic? What are the things we can integrate for people and help them maybe in their lifestyle or their sleep, different things, and how do we continue to close that gap? Hopefully we'll have, working with an Australian engineer, we might have some really unique one of a kind type kind of like read and treat devices that we'll start integrating. Maybe integrating some really neat treatment technology out of Stanford here in the next few months. So,
Cool.
So any number of things that we're trying to do is like, okay, how much more better can we get at helping people that are struggling with depression, anxiety, PTSD, concussion, continuing to, I saw a kiddo that flew over from Guam that has autism the other day. So really trying to treat as early as possible in some of these cases, and as we find new ways, then not new ways, but kind of like integrating existing ways in a meaningful way. We think of it like sequencing, like timing is important too, right? You can't just always throw a kitchen sink. You want to layer interventions. We're seeing some really neat things with kids who have autism.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep up with everything that you guys are doing.
Yep.
I'll be going in for my follow-ups every now and then.
Yeah.
So we'll try to get to 13 hertz.
Yeah.
What's the highest?
You don't want it, honestly, like you're at the high end of the sweet spot.
Oh, okay.
You start going a little bit faster, then you're prone to like anxiety, restlessness, and sleep
Oh, I
problems.
see. Okay.
And truthfully, like your brain's only going to go where it's supposed to go, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, I'll
Like, I
work
can't,
on getting
like,
more sad. That's what I'll work on.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one thing you wish people knew about you that they don't?
I don't know, actually. I have to answer that question.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have anything, then you don't have to. but, like maybe
you know
some
what?
of your workers are watching this.
Like,
What is something you
Well,
think they
my-
misunderstand about you?
shoot, there's probably a lot to it. That's a good question. Like, maybe it's obvious, maybe it's not, but I can be really introverted. Like I really like to, as much as I'm out talking with patients, interacting with.
We have to. It's your job.
I really enjoy just kind of just unplugging at home, and just, like being at home with my wife, with my kids, and just kind of just doing all those things is really what I do to recharge.
Awesome.
Yeah. We started like doing just kind of like some real entry level, like spearfishing out on the
that's
beach,
cool.
like that real basic.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I got none of that. So you're ahead of me.
Things like that, just kind of just really unplugging, getting away, and that's
Disconnecting.
yeah.
Awesome.
And what else was? Oh, I guess I don't know. It's something like. No, actually, I don't know.
You can share that.
What's your answer to that question?
I would say maybe something similar. I think it would change depending on the day you ask me that. But since you brought that up, I would say, yeah, I'm not like. I'm like an ambivert. I can flow between being extroverted and introverted when I need to, but I prefer not going out, not being extroverted and outgoing. I like just staying at home, watching sports, just being with my girlfriend, watching our shows. Like, I prefer that so much more than being out and doing the things. I see the importance of doing that for business and networking. And like this, you know, people say, oh yeah, you're so outgoing and I'm surprised to hear that you don't like to be around people. But I tell them, I mean, I have one-on-one conversations with people. That's what I prefer. It's just like this. I don't like being in crowds. I don't like being around hundreds of people. I don't like loud noises. Like, you know, that's me on my spectrum, is like, I don't like loud noises. I don't like being like around random people that I don't know. I don't like those things. I'm good at doing things I don't like, though. You know, so that's why it appears like I'm good at these things.
Yeah.
And
you do always have a smile, so you just roll with it. Yeah.
But I prefer just to be at home and being by myself or just with my close circle.
Yeah, I wonder if most people are like that, actually.
I think so. I think people recharge by being around other people.
Some people do.
I recharge being alone.
That's absolutely.
You know, so I think that's how you determine if you're extrovert or introvert. And I think I'm more introverted because I recharge being alone.
Yeah. I think the other thing I was thinking, like, it's probably obvious to the people around me, where they like, I didn't realize that I was that I'm a total nerd. And you know, like I love trying to analyze and figure things out when it comes to like the things that we do every day. And
I mean, that's your obsession. You know,
it has become that. I never knew that I was capable of that.
Yeah. And I think we all have, like we say, everybody has their vice, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's sports.
Yeah.
And I can obsess over that, and I could watch that all day, every day. You know, same with you nerding out on the things that you want to do. Like I could look at I'm on my phone and my girlfriend's asking what I'm doing, and she's like, you said you were going to go shower a while ago. The water's been running. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just looking at the waiver wire for my fantasy teams and looking at the stats.
Yeah.
You know, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's my version.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so before we let you go, I got to know, what is your life hack?
Life hack. I would say, well, there's one kind of like thinking about the way that the things that I do at work, kind of life hack, and then probably just kind of general life hack. The sort of work or craft related life hack is just really centered around a lot of things we discussed about like sleep, like just really prioritizing that it's the window of sleep from about 9-10 till about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And then as much as you can, getting outside right when you wake up in the morning before you pick up your phone. There's really some magic that occurs around sunrise in terms of, you know, getting out, getting into the sun after you've had that really like defined window of sleep. I think that over time is one of the things that can really promote a lot of overall health and brain health for people. And that's something that I, you know, try to get to, you know, shooting for 7 days a week, probably hitting it 4 to 5, if I'm lucky 6. But that's a big life hack that I'm trying to continue as kind of like a baseline. And then kind of like a general life hack would be, I lucked into marrying well in terms of my wife and her family. And so,
choose the right partner.
But you choose the right partner, and then I probably fail at what I'm about to say at least 50% of the time. My wife would probably say about 80% of the time. Is like, just listen. Might as well just listen to that. You know, like
what did you say?
Just like like just listen. Like there's you know, because if you got the right partner in there and the right community, like they're looking after best interests and have the right priorities in mind, and usually if things go well, listen.
Okay, cool.
But I fail at that a lot. So.
Yeah. I like to rage bait my girlfriend sometimes, so it's fun.
I just heard that word for the first time. I heard my son using that. What the hell is that?
It's a newer word that I learned too from social media.
It's just antagonize, right?
Okay. Instigating stuff. Like
rage bait sounds
I like to annoy.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Get a reaction out of somebody. and in a positive, fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tell my girlfriend
Yeah.
when she's like, "I'm gonna punch you." But like, why? I didn't do anything. But yes, okay. Well, I have my last fast fave 5 questions. These are just rapid fire answers. Okay. Favorite work snack? Because you guys got the best. I gotta say, Brain Health Hawaii, Kahala location at least, best snack.
No, the here
best ever. You guys got that
the
whole.
no the whole food brisket and pork that they have like most of the time during the day.
Oh, I've never tried that.
Oh,
Oh,
so
the
good.
sandwiches.
No, like just the meat. They have
the
a
meat.
meat station. That's
Oh, you just get that and
That's
you just,
top notch.
You just
Yeah.
eat the brisket
That's
itself.
That's it.
Oh wow.
They have pork and beef.
Oh, I gotta try that.
It's not always there though. That's the bummer. It's like a roulette.
go
It's a
at
game
the-
of roulette.
yeah, you gotta go at the right time.
walk from our office all the way around, go down, and it's like But yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. But you guys got the best lineup of like snacks, drinks, everything.
Yeah.
It's so exciting just going in, just knowing you're gonna get a good drink, and it's not like the junk. It's like good stuff. You got like the Starbucks Frappuccino, the sweet teas. You got some whatever. Let's see which
Chocolate milk in there.
chocolate
There's-
milk, apple juice, and then the snacks. You got the Kind bars. You got the those little yogi bites and stuff. You
Yeah.
got all kind apples, but not go if you guys aren't gonna go for your brain, just go for the snacks.
Just go for the apples.
Go for the brain. Stay for the snacks.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite guilty pleasure.
I don't know if I have one. What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
Maybe ice cream.
Oh,
I love ice cream.
Who doesn't? But you have guilt. I don't have guilt.
Little bit depends.
No, I take that back. You're right. I do
Like right now, I'm supposed to be in my fitness era.
Yeah.
Like so.
And I'm trying not to eat late. Like by definition, I'm trying not to eat after 6. But then my wife will have like Oreo cheesecake or some anything from Diamond Head,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Or like it's Thanksgiving, like pumpkin pie with
Yeah.
like an overwhelming amount of whipped cream. Absolutely
Ooh,
my
I
favorite
love
things to
that,
eat.
yeah.
So I get, and I'll when I was young, I could just pound it, not worry about it. But now I eat it. I guess
I feel guilty.
That's guilty.
I
you're
feel
right.
I'm happy.
I'm
eating
guilty.
it,
I'm guilty
but
of being guilty.
Yeah. Same. Okay. Favorite travel destination
Here,
outside of Hawaii.
outside of Hawaii, probably Indonesia, Bali.
Oh, cool. Never been
Yeah.
there. Gotta go there. It's really cheap, right?
Well, it used to be. I don't know if it is anymore.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
still is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get there one day. Okay, and I was gonna ask favorite thing you do to recharge, but you said you already shared that, so I'll change it to favorite thing to stay in shape. What do you do?
Well, I haven't been very good at that. So that's usually I'm just out running around with the kids doing whatever it is
Okay.
they're doing.
Dad things.
Dad stuff.
Okay, that's what they talk about, the dad
Dad-
strength and dad bod.
And just
Yeah.
slowly walking my way into a dad bod.
You're looking good right now, though. You're reinventing how people view dad bods.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and last one, favorite movie, TV show, or book. I said all of those threes because I didn't know if you watch movie, TV shows, or books, so you have options.
You know, I really like. It's hard. I've never really thought about that much, but it doesn't have to be like recent or new.
No, it's just your favorite.
I think like the first 1 or 2 seasons of Homeland. Did you ever watch that show?
No, I know that show though.
Like the first 1 or 2 seasons.
Oh, actually, I might have watched a couple episodes a really long time ago.
Like watch the first season or 2. It's top notch.
That's like kind of FBI.
Yeah, like CIA.
stuff. Yeah, I think
Claire
I watched
Danes.
a long time ago.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe
forgot
even
about
into
that
the
show.
3rd season, but definitely the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, super good.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'll go pick it up
It's
again.
amazing. She's a really good actress.
Okay.
The way
Cool.
that she portrayed like a literal bipolar CIA agent navigating some pretty wild scenarios is like, she should have won an award. I don't know if maybe she won. I don't know, but it was really good.
I'll
It's
go
really
look it up.
good. Yeah.
Right on. Well, that's all we got for you today. Mahalo again for coming in.
Thanks for
sharing
having me.
everything. I feel very honored that you came on this podcast. Is this your first podcast?
This is my first.
First
Thank you.
podcast.
I feel honored that you invited me.
Yeah, and thank you for taking care of me. You and the amazing staff. Thank you for what you guys are doing for the community.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share? If not, tell us where we can find you.
Well, our office is at Kahala Mall. We have another office in Mililani and Kailua. But yeah, I don't really have. I just appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, at Brain Health Hawaii on Instagram, I think.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's
you
it.
probably don't
That's
even
it.
know. I got you.
I'm almost 52. I don't know these things.
Yeah. You gotta stay with the times.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
No worries.
Yeah.
But mahalo, Dr. Jason or Dr. Keifer or just Jason, however you want to address him, for joining us on the Keep It Low podcast. Spread love, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka. Remember to always keep it aloha.